Right, okay, yeah, so I thought I'd start off by saying, just to welcome everyone, thank you for coming down. This all started, for me anyway, it's been going on for years, in living rooms, in bars, in conversations which are, we don't have 200 to 300 person capacity venue that is music and music only focused. What it means is that we have bars and clubs and venues, like little tiny places that start nights. People get involved, people play, but then they don't have enough money to go and do something in the junction. They don't have enough, there's no space that fits that kind of, you're slightly bigger than 80 person in a bar somewhere. And it's been a problem for many, many years, and it came to a head last weekend when the Man in the Moon sadly closed down, and the Last Gang in Town guys really highlighted that and made it really a big thing. So I put a little plea on the internet. Tom Walker and Alex Miller came back to me and said, shit, that's a really good thing, we need to make a big deal of that. Then everyone else joined up. In about 3 days we had 600 people liking this Facebook group. So we've kind of sort of said, right, okay, well, we've got a good idea in our head what this space should be. It's basically a room with a load of speakers in it and a stage. I think that's pretty straightforward. But we thought we'd get everyone together and see, as a community, what we can do to make it happen, make it a reality, rather than a conversation that we grumble about, and I'm sure everyone in this room has grumbled about it over and over again over the years. You know, I know a lot of people in this room, and I know a lot of them are all promoters and band members and all different things, and they all have the same problems that I have with my notes and stuff. So I thought we'd start it off, and I'd introduce myself. I am Justin. I've done stuff in Cambridge for 15 years. I've been to punk nights, I've been to weird electronic noise generation nights, I've been to all sorts of shit. I put all sorts of shit on. Stuff, sorry. Yeah, language. We're not past the water shit, are we? Anyway, so I thought I'd start by saying that and saying thank everyone for coming. Tom Walker is another person who has been at the forefront of us getting this together tonight. And so is Alex. I don't know if you guys want to say anything.
I don't know what I want to say. That it's a good idea that Cambridge has a community and like music and arts venue. We do want somewhere where it's viable, and I genuinely don't think that there's been somewhere that's been well managed, well marketed, well run, and in support of the community ever. Really, at this kind of grassroots level, the Junction's amazing. Every venue that succeeds in Cambridge succeeds because they do well with what they've got, to do with licensing, like hours and following as well, because there's never really been a cultivating kind of aspect to it. We always just power through, which is, I started Uprising and a few other little things on a cheeky number, really, just to kind of get away with it, and we kept on getting busted when we were 18 out in the field, so we're like, well, let's kind of go inside and make it a bit more of a thing, and then kind of got involved more in the kind of the larger creative community, and actually in other places other than Cambridge, from my aspect of like music scene and dance music, this kind of thing is a profession, it's something you can pour into, you can make your life out of, you can make a career out of, whereas in Cambridge people just kind of, on the whole, people just like have a go, peter out, move on, you know, and it's like, and that's actually not the case for you. If you've got a creative output, you can make your life around it. You can, and that's really important to encourage people, the younger generation and the generation and the older generation, all the generations, and yeah, I just think we can right now. It's for me, it's just all about direct action, like what we can do. We've got a good. This plan's a great one for what it is so far, just to do the thing. But we've got a good couple of years where we're going to go, a year, 2 years, where we're just going to have to be gathering troops and doing things. So just direct action. What else? What can we do to do the thing, to move it forward in whatever way we can do? That's probably all I've got to say on it right now, until I've heard what everyone else has got to say.
It's pretty much preaching to the converted already, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
The choir, really. Like, you're all here for the same reason that we're here, basically. I used to run an open mic night, and I've got nowhere to put it on now. The whole time that I was running that open mic night, I never had the ability to give people the next step in their careers, and I found that really, really frustrating the whole time that I was doing that. You know, I was seeing this amazing talent coming through, and not being able to give them the support slots for a big out-of-town band and stuff like that. You know, getting in the next level acts so that locals can support them and so on, bringing the youth through, all that sort of stuff. It's been a problem for over a decade now, so yeah, that's why I'm here.
Should we do a thing where there's loads of people here? Should we do a thing where everyone's got something to say? Says something? I don't know. Justin, he's chairing this meeting because he's chaired the Strawberry Fair meetings and he's just done that kind of thing before. I'm really good at waffling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, it's quite difficult. There is so many people here, which is great. I feel like if we move straight into it, really, like let's say what we visualise the aims of this organisation, whatever it is, campaign organisation, whatever that is, what we visualise it as, and then we'll open it up to the floor and see if anyone's got any other input to say, whether they completely disagree with that and want to walk out on us now, that's totally fine as well. But you know, like this is what we sat down and we were like, well, how do we get this to move forward? How do we actually take this to the next level rather than us just discussing it and going, oh bloody hell, it's rubbish. And I wrote, at the end of my plea, I said, at the end of it, actually, we should just be putting on music wherever and whenever we can, and taking advantage of all the spaces we have got, and maybe creating spaces that normally people wouldn't even consider as being actually a music venue. And the objective of this is to get a 300-person capacity venue that is run by people who understand the music, that the music is the focus and the intention of the event, of the venue, that they're open-minded and they're not going to turn around and say, well, you like drum and bass or you like jungle, so you're not allowed to have a night in here. If these nights are well managed, they work across the country, there's a fear in this city that people put on something, even punk nights get a bad rep in the city because someone turns around and says, oh, there's fights at them, isn't there? And then everyone goes, oh yeah, it's right. So the university stamps on it, all the rest of it. We've all heard all these politics before. So we want to be able to get rid of that image, take away that and say, look, this music is a great and valuable thing and a part of our community that people just aren't getting in the city. And so that is the key objective of this organisation, to get a 300-person capacity venue with a decent licence, in a decent location that doesn't upset the local residents, blah, 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 all of that sort of stuff. So I don't want to say blah, 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 I don't want to sound too much like I've thought of all of it already. You're not minuting blah, blah, blah. Okay, thanks.
Oh, well done, Ozzy. My computer is 20 minutes to start up. I can't start the meetings till we're done.
Yeah, so when
I just want to say something. The arts is one thing that we're all musicians mainly and promoters and like well involved in the music scene. The arts and the kind of and all that means is a huge part of this as well, to get momentum inside that community. So it is. By my limited understanding, they are better catered for in Cambridge because it's more of it's something that you can do kind of favour no more. Okay, well, is there a desire for the same thing in Cambridge for the arts and for the...
God, yes.
Yeah.
You've got the comedy improvisation groups, you've got the Amdram groups, and you've got the poetry performance and spoken word groups.
Yeah.
Again, similarly to what Alex was saying, we can take people so far, but there's nowhere else to go after that. People looking for rehearsal space to pay ludicrous amounts of money to get into a tiny cramped room that's not designed for rehearsing and for movement. You've not got somewhere that will give you the kind of sound equipment that you need in order to do that, stage, lighting, anything like that. In order to be able to take things to the next level of just a microphone in a pub, you need something that's going to give people that place to do workshops, place to create, place to make new things happen, not just to put on nights, but actually to do that. To do the thing that happens before that as well.
Okay,
that development.
Very valid point. Okay, so
Just
straight
we're talking
away.
about, we're going to hammer on about music and the arts and those kind of things is such a massive part of it.
Yeah, so I think, okay, well, you know, this space is a space to be used by everyone, and in that sense, I'm sitting there saying we need to be able to have band nights and we need to have dance music nights, but absolutely, you've highlighted a massive point. It's not just about that, it's about so many other things.
Yeah, totally. So art spaces, workshop spaces can create their backdrops, recording studio, film space, all these, not just, there's all the arts covered, not just music, visual arts, painting, backdrops. Years ago, Cafe Africa was going to become that, but it disappeared and died due to many reasons. But I thought something about
forget to renew the licence on that place.
That's another story. That was the sort of space they're hoping to do a recording studio, and it all fell apart, sadly. For whatever reasons, that's exactly what we need. That's completely not just music focused, but completely sort of like we're trying to do with Strawberry Fair.
Yeah, sure. And I think there's many examples of how actually this can work as a concept in London. I mean, there's they're all over the place now. It's like Shoreditch Studios have just opened up. There's loads of places that are big, basically just a big warehouse, but they put on band nights, they put on music, they also have it as a theatre venue, it's a studio, they have film shoots in there, they have all sorts of stuff going on, and it's a really great space. It just can be a big room with a tall ceiling. It's that simple. But it's got to be in the right.
We met with the Cambridge councillor, and he regional or local anyway. County councillor. There you go. Shows how much I know about the official side of it. He was saying that there's a lot of initiatives right now to do with new builds and to do with projects coming up that we can associate ourselves with. So we can say we'd use that space if it's viable for us. We'd use this. We'd use that. And if we open, well, as we are open to all the arts and all the music scene as a whole, we can make use of any space, from a church hall to a, to a venue, to anything really, a cafe. So we can make use and attach it to the fact that we need our own exclusive place or our own something, our own our space that we're entitled to, dedicated space. There we go.
So for information, there is a fund that people have to, when they develop in Cambridge, they have to donate to this fund. They have to put a percentage of the total overall cost of the development, something like that. We've been approached by a few developers in the past at Strawberry Fair, and the amount of money is not significant, but in terms of what we're trying to do, it is very significant. I mean, you're talking multi-million-pound development. They'll probably have to put £1,000 towards the art. How that actually gets distributed and where that goes is questionable, because they'll probably all pump it into the junction. So to try and summarise what we want from a venue, I think the conclusion I've got from trying to draw everyone's things together is it's not slap bang in the middle of town. It's not going to disrupt local residents. It can go on late enough that it plays music that we all want it to be able to do, but it's also got to be a multifunctional space that can allow for theatre groups, cinema, filming, all sorts of other stuff to take place in that space. It's a versatile space with the equipment that can allow that to take place. And I think that's really important, and I kind of appreciate that, and I think it's a really good thing. Does anyone have anything to add to that summary?
Just to say, are we looking at something that's just one big room, or are we looking at a venue that has where you can separate things off?
Definitely a dry room. Definitely an under-18 dry room. So a second. There's no facility for that.
Me and Justin were just on 105 earlier with the girl that's running the under-16s band competition. It was one of her main points. I'm running a band competition and I can't go and see any bands in Cambridge.
Because I'm under 18, so I can't actually go to clubs. I am. Absolutely. Again, a big space is functional because you can put things in and separate it out. Even if it was just a big warehouse, we could make it something else.
The medium capacity venues, they'll from 4 p.m. till late till 8 or whenever a real gig, whenever a gig wants to set up. The bands get to use that room because the PA's already set up, the soundman's already in, so they basically get to do a dry run gig.
So much stuff right now to get, and we're just trying to do.
Just those. That's just normal for any kind of functioning music scene. That kind of place is just standard, or that kind of function for a venue. And we haven't got anywhere that's active, and not to fuck any venue that's around now or has been in Cambridge. They've all done what they can under the conditions they've been under, but we're talking about trying to kind of crack something that's works under different conditions, so we can do stuff like that. So
it's always a challenge with these sort of spaces and expensive equipment. Just because of the fact that it's expensive equipment and someone inevitably at some point will break it, and where that responsibility lies always suddenly becomes very difficult. But I appreciate your point. I think it's a very valid one. I think if we could work that in somehow,
it would just be a matter of doing it. Once the place is running, that's just another aspect of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of the project, obviously by the way, Strawberry Veteran, blah blah blah. In terms of the project of phases, I think Dave's got it bang on the head. We need to actually launch ourselves, evolve into a sort of cohesive group like a company or something like that. Do some press release, make some noise, go to council meetings, literally go to the next council meeting en masse, every single one of us here, and start stamping our feet up and down and says, this city is crap, it needs a fucking bigger bit, it needs a 300-seat capacity venue, and we're here to demand it. And that's the first phase, isn't it? And then the council then put on the spot, and every licence comes up for renewal, every change in the designation of the industrial unit, then they have to think, oh, what about those angry kids from down the road? Where's their venue? Can we use it for this? I think the first of the project phases is to establish ourselves as a cohesive group and get ourselves on the council's radar and let them know we're serious about getting a venue back in the city.
It's a very valid point. I mean, I think that we've all grumbled, and I've personally been involved in a number of projects where people have tried to open venues and they've had a very very poor response from the council in that they've been a bit dismissive, and because they can swallow the arguments that say, oh, but there's loads of clubs in town, or there's this. We don't need to allow this extra venue because we don't need it, and I think actually it is definitely in a position where we do need some actual kind of like on the street action that says we are here and we are happy with it.
My name's Smokey. I'm part of the Revelation crew. We've done sound system at Strawberry Fair. I think this is all about credibility, getting enough people involved so that, if there's 1,000 people that are members of this, you're as big as a political party, so everybody takes notice. I don't think we need to really stamp and shout. We just got to get the numbers. And the credibility is actually putting on events, using other people's venues, putting on things. When we started Revelation, which is doing reggae, it was like nobody wanted to put reggae on. So all we had to do was make it palatable for the venue, and I think that's what we need to do is be professional about it.
Where the Junction failed. The Junction started off on a community-based project, but there was lots of kind of hand-waving meetings and setting up meetings like this, where as a business it wasn't operating, functioning, and it was got to the point where it wasn't functional because it couldn't make decisions, and as a result it didn't operate. So it kind of needs to be. It has to be a functioning business. It has to be business-minded. But that's paying. What should we talk about?
I've got a venue.
You've got a venue.
Oh yes. I've been trying to tell you.
I'm sorry.
It's on Mill Road.
Right.
It's got a licence for 200 people.
Right.
It's got a bar in there. It's got everything you need. Please, can I? Sorry. Can I just say that you're very welcome to come to the Salisbury Club on Mill Road. It's got a licence for, as I say, for 200 people. It's got a stage. It's got full licences, PPL, everything, and the arts bit. You're all
Brilliant.
very welcome.
Okay, that's great. We will make use of this venue space. Absolutely. Even for future meetings.
It's not a Conservative club.
Can we?
The members' club is.
It might be entertaining to do a meeting about.
Could I grab your
Punkin.
number and details for contact? We'll make use of that ASAP. Definitely.
Alan asked me to come down here tonight, because I knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
But yes, you can.
Great.
During Mill Road Winter Fair, we've got the fashion show from the CRC. They came down tonight. See, it's not political.
Right, guys. Yeah, want to be okay. Vet, then Nikki, then move on.
I was just going to try and put it back down to where you
Okay, good,
direct it as well.
great. Which way?
Just say that, before you even talk about venue space, you need to get the mission statement. I'm not telling you how to start getting it, the mission statement, business plan, and then all of you can go out, and then source place. But the major thing is education. If you really need to see young people into it as well. It's a major point of CIC.
That's one of the key points to drive just enable every aspect of the community.
And that's also going to give you the respect that you were talking about, the respect and the recognition from the authorities that you need, is to involve the needs and the young people and the sponsors, any corporate funding, that kind of thing, but get the business plan together before even venues are looking at.
Yeah, so sorry for any anarchists in the room. Is it worth creating a little working group of what the actual organisation is going to be?
I think it is worth it. We don't need to talk about that kind of specifics.
No, but what we do is we say who's interested in generating an organisation and generating what's it called, the manifesto, but not. You said Constitution, that's the one. Years working on Strawberry Fairs, but I
just want to say, if this this is the first. I've been to loads of strawberry fair meetings, but this is the first kind of meeting about something that I'm actually in person. If this format doesn't suit anyone, like if you don't feel like you've had your say or whatever, like don't go away feeling like I didn't get my. Just let us know through any, or just kind of push it in any way you want to. If your action doesn't suit this action, then we'll find a way that it does. Like, just because I could imagine turning up something like this and kind of going away thinking like, that sounds weird, or like certain interactions happen and you're like, well that was a bit tainted. But like the action, what we're trying to do is just wholesome.
So, who would like to be part of a group that thinks about how the organisation comes together? Right. So, Ozzy, we'll do the honours and go around the
We can't hear back in here.
So it's a small working group, doesn't need 50 of us, but like a small working group that works out what the constitution of this organisation is and what it functions as and how it as an organisation is.
What's your name, dude?
Does that make sense?
Dan? Dude? Elliot? Next to you? How do you spell that? E-L-Y-S-I-A, excellent. Hugo?
Basically what I had a few days ago, I had a meeting with someone that wasn't here today on the Google Doc page. We just like copy pasted, chatted while we were there, and just it's an amazing resource because it's linear, so you can just go down and down and down. You can obviously repaste and retype, but you just go down and down and down and down and down. The whole meeting is documented. You've got your minutes before you even finish, and also you can copy and paste pictures, websites. Yeah, you'd make a whole doc, a management control document, whatever it is. There's an open letter that we've made that we can put on.
There's the start of an open letter which I was going to send to the Cambridge Evening News and try and get it published there. I'm on speaking terms with the editor of the entertainment section there, I was hoping to just basically get an open letter together and get that published as a bit of a sort of this is the start of our campaign kind of thing. I'll put that up on Google Docs so that anyone can have a look at it and make any additions or subtractions that they think. That will be paid. I'll paste up a link to that on the Facebook group tomorrow or something.
Okay, well I think I might throw it out to the wider community because weirdly enough web developers don't tend to turn up to meetings.
Too busy on the internet.
Too busy on the internet indeed. So so I'll leave that one there. And all of this comes back to one really central question. What's the organisation / campaign goal?
So far we've got a name for the events, which is Community, but that doesn't suit the name for the organisation, I don't think. We need something, not right now at all, but we need to start knocking it around.
Okay, so I reckon the way to do this is anyone who had an idea at the break. Cambridge needs CAC. Anyway, so if any of you actually talked about in the break, chuck your hand up now and then we'll get your suggestions. Okay, so names. Elliot.
Cambridge Arts Alliance.
Cambridge Arts Alliance.
Cambridge Arts and Music.
I think for some reason I want to keep away from acronyms. I think we're just a name, but it might be a great, if someone comes up with a good one then excellent. But like, I think just a name rather than an acronym. Well, what does everyone else think? I don't know.
Right, so wait.
There's a big group in Liverpool called the Art Organisation and they take over lots of buildings that haven't got leases on and they make them into art studios. They're called the Art Organisation, so you can take that, the Cambridge Art Organisation, and then it sounds like you're a part of a bigger picture of people trying to do the whole thing. Maybe.
Dan?
I've been roped into this. Cambridge Community Collective, POW, CCCP. We could have a hammer, we could have a sickle, we could have...
While we're also shouting them out, should we make a list of names as well, rather than just...
Yeah, we get people to ask the Facebook page.
Go on, Dave.
I heard someone say Cambridge venue group. I think that's so simple. It covers everything.
What do we do with that once we've got a venue? Oh, then we are.
Then we've done. Then we've won.
Hugo. Heartbeat. Like it. Heartbeat.
Get a creepy bearded artist to come.
I'm not sure that's
I should have a microphone. Anyone else? Elliot again.
Music and Arts Coalition.
Andy.
Cambridge Unity Neighbourhood Terrorists.
Unity Neighbourhood.
We used to have Cambridge Underground Noise Terrorists. We can't do it again.
Cambridge Unity Neighbourhood of Terrorists. I'm not going to put the acronym together for you. I think here we go again. Future Space. I like it. I actually like that. This is the first one that I tried. Okay, anyone else? Come on, other than Hugo. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, credit for Taylor. Yes.
I don't think this is how we should be doing it. We should just type shit on Facebook and people can like things they like.
How is this different?
You can do it in chronological order and everyone can hear everything and think about it.
Yeah, no, I think he was just being sarcastic. That is actually a really good point. That's kind of what I've been doing that on the page, but I've just kind of said in terms of the name of this page, which is a momentum thing rather than the actual organisation.
Making a legitimate question about whether Facebook is a better environment to discuss things.
I'd say yes.
No.
Shut up. Dude. Cambridge one? 300.
Yes, 300.
Oh, 300 people, yeah.
300 people.
I was just saying you can put polls on Facebook groups now, so if we just get a list and then make a poll on Facebook.
So a Facebook poll, is that what they're called? Yeah. Oh, wicked. That's a really good idea. I only have to pick which DJ I like better on those kind of things.
I like the way that you can add extra ones at the bottom as well.
My mate Dave.
Dave. Okay, cool. So we've got a few others. I really like Future Space. I also like the idea of 300 being number involved.
I love the idea of 300.
Yeah. So maybe Future Space for 300.
There's already a Future Space.
I don't give a fuck. There's a company called IBM somewhere. There's a film company. Yeah, there's a film. Yeah. Most of the words in the English language. Okay, so right, okay, that. I don't know. Has anyone got any more? Has everyone got bored of this? Like, okay. So as much as I love Facebook, there are a number of my friends and our friends generally who don't use Facebook as a principle. Are we happy to use Facebook as a continued way of communicating?
Yes.
And then
Also, I set up an Imgur and a Twitter today as well. If everyone could find the Cambridge Needs a Venue Twitter, or New Cam's Venue, I think it was. If anyone uses Twitter. Oh, it was just for momentum, because Twitter's another kind of group crowdsourcing thing, so you can change the name easily on Twitter as well, or set up a new one.
so you've got some actions.
Yeah, and just so you know, people have given their names down for meetings and stuff and groups. I'm going to troll you out on Facebook and actually just get email addresses and set up an email group. And we can have people on Facebook for that, obviously.
Okay, so in a small way, I'm going to skip over Floating Trunk because I think everyone's agreed that actually having some money to be able to do advertising and stuff is quite a good thing. Yeah, and once we've got a constitution and an organisation, we can then work out how that money's stored. So let's ignore that bit. Then moving on to next moves and actions. Yeah, so Ozzy, what are the actions of the evening?
Right, well, obviously, Tom and the Uprising crew are going to start recording Ghost Town, and we're going to get the crew together to do that. Dave's going to help with the video. I'm going to sort out an intervention at the Cambridge City Council and contact the City Council managers to get speaking rights and stuff like that. We've got a gap in the press department, which is the person we nominated press officer at there has scooted out on us. So Justin, can you take that one on? Yes, Justin's going to take on the press. Obviously the key action there is to actually document tonight's meeting. I mean, this video is going to be very helpful. 9 minutes to do so. and then we can put something in the paper, say, we launched ourselves. I think the open letter to the paper is a good idea. Alex mentioned it earlier, an open letter signed by as many people as feel like signing it in the letters page, goes immediately, very good press coverage, and then following that the council thing. And then we'll obviously have to reconvene for a second meeting, and a meeting with the groups who arranged to work on certain bits like setting up the actual bodies. That meeting is going to be called the meeting with Tom and the Ghost Town people, and the meeting about something else. We'll do through Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, the most important meeting is the meeting about what the organisation is going to be and what it actually takes to do at the Constitution meeting. I'll try and organise that over the next week.
Anything you said after the most important thing.
Okay, sorry. I'm crap at microphones, you know, I prefer shouting. Yeah, so I'm going to try and organise the meeting about Constitution and what this organisation actually is. And I'm going to try and do it in the next week or so. So all those people who put their hand up, and he's waving a lot. I'm not going to take, I'm just going to finish my point. That's okay. Right, okay. Yeah, so that for me is the most important meeting. Once that's happened, we can start doing more press campaigns and start launching in a big way and getting really on it. In the meantime, an ongoing thing is find us a venue space. People keep looking, start going on commercial websites and seeing what open spaces or what spaces are available, and start posting them on the Facebook wall, because I will look at all of them. And we can sort of assess whether or not they work. I've got loads of hands up. Anyway.
We've realised what we are as an organisation. I hope to maybe do some paper storms and maybe some outreach stuff. So if anyone's interested in doing that with me,
paper storms and outreach from Elliot, once we've established what we are, that's a good thing. Be careful with Cambridge though, we get told off for that kind of stuff. It's important because I really want to wrap this up, because I'm really conscious that people are kind of getting to the end of their attention span. 3 seconds. 1.
The music department of Elliot Ruskin University, so I'll make some noise.
Yeah. Brilliant. So me being facetious was totally unreasonable. Yeah, cool. So Ozzy.
A picture is worth 1,000 words and a video is worth 1,000 pictures. I say we get everyone at this meeting down that end of the room and start singing Ghost Town for the camera and start putting it on YouTube and Facebook, and you take pictures of this. It's a serious meeting. A lot of bodies in one place makes a very good picture. So let's do this right now. Everyone down this end of the venue.